Hey Philharmonic bass players, welcome back. In today's video, we are going to be making our own sheet music and then writing our own song. So, super fun day today. Alright, for this video, you need one piece of blank paper, one pencil. I'm going to use a pen so that it's easier to see on the camera, but I want you guys to use a pencil so that you can erase if you need to and you don't have to start all over. Then you are going to need a straight edge. I'm going to use this because it's nice and straight, but a ruler works, or any sort of booklet, anything that's got a nice straight edge that can reach all the way across your page. So, step one, leave a little room at the top, but we're going to find a nice straight line on here, and we're going to trace it all the way. Alright. Alright, now we're going to do that 5 more times. Now the tricky part is making sure that they're even. So make sure that you don't have it like this and then you have a line that's going across like that. You want them to be as parallel as possible. So here's my line number 2. Alright, pretty parallel. And try to keep them pretty equidistant as well. Want them the same distance apart. Okay, so that's 3 lines. I just need 2 more now. 1. Oop. 2. Alright, then I'm going to go ahead and do another staff. Okay, so go about the same distance as your staff down, leave that much space, and then we're going to start another one. Try to keep them the same distance apart as the last one. All right, now I have 2 staves. So next step, we've got to close our staves. So do one little line right here, one little line right here, one little line right here, and one little line right here. At the very end, don't do this yet because you don't know how long your song is going to be, but when you're all the way done at the very end, you're going to let us know that the song is over by making that line a little bit thicker and adding one more line at the very, very end of your song. Next, let's work on drawing a bass clef together. So this can be a little tricky, but it is easier than drawing a treble clef. So step 1, find the line where your F goes. So the 4th line up. And it's really important that you keep it on the correct lines because that's what determines our clef, right? Bass clef sometimes is called the F clef because it's really centered around this F line. So draw a dot on the F line. Now you're going to take your pen and just kind of swoop it around to the right and bring it back down like that. And one thing that I kind of like to do just to make it pretty is kind of make it thick just around the curve. Kind of just makes it look a little bit nicer, right? Then you have 2 dots, and they go on the highest 2 spaces. So here's one right here, and here's another one right here. So next, we put our key signature, but we've got a few different key signatures that we can use. So I'm going to write those down here for examples. So The key of C. When we think about C major, how many sharps or flats do we have in C major? 0, right? 0 sharps and flats. So if you were going to write your song in the key of C major, you would leave this part blank. You would not write anything. If we are in the key of G major, how many sharps or flats does G major have? If you guessed 1 sharp, you are correct. And what is the 1 sharp that's in G major? F sharp. If you guessed that, you are correct. So, if you were going to write the key signature for G major, you would write 1 sharp on the F line. So, we know that F is our 4th line up. So I'm going to draw, I'm going to write it down here. So I'm going to draw 1 sharp right here. That is for G major. So this right here is G major, right? So blank would be C major. That's G major. What about F major? How many sharps or flats does F major have? 1 flat. F major has 1 flat. And do you know which flat F major has? B flat is the correct answer. So if you were going to draw F major, it would look like this. So we know that we have B flat right here. It doesn't go up here where that B goes. It always goes right here for B flat, right? Let's do just one more key signature for today. How about D major? So how many sharps or flats does D as in dog, D major have? If you guessed 2 sharps, you are correct. So we already know our first sharp is always F, F sharp, because of the order of sharps, right? So what would our second sharp be? If you guessed C sharp, you are correct. So we've got 1 sharp here at F and 1 sharp here at C. You always keep your sharps and your flats in the same order. You would never write your C and then your F. It always goes F, then C because of our order of sharps, right? Follow order of sharps, which is, if you remember, F, C, F, C, G, D, A, E, B, right? Remember, fat cats go down alleys eating bread, right? And for flats, bead, and then G, C, F. I don't really have a good acronym for that one, I just kind of remember it, right? So for flats, you would never write like A flat, then E flat, then B flat, right? So it always goes B, then E, then A, then D, then G, C, F. And just like sharps, we've always got F, C, G, D, A, E, B. Always in that order. And you kind of space them out accordingly. So we've got our staff drawn. Now let's go to time signatures. So we know that there are way more key signatures than just these 4. But for today, for this exercise, because I know that all of you guys are really familiar with these 4 key signatures, let's stick to these for today. And that's just like time signatures. We know that we have a million bajillion time signatures, but just for today, let's stick to either 3/4 or 4/4. Another way that you can write 4/4 is like this. C. C for common time, all right? And your key signature always goes before your time signature. So if you were in the key of G, you would write your bass clef, then you would write your F sharp, and then you would write your time signature. All right? So now we are going to create our own song. So we're going to review really quick some rhythm stuff. So I'm going to take this guy away and replace it with this. So you're going to pick either 3/4 time or 4/4 time. So let's remember 4/4 time sounds like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? And 3/4 time sounds kind of more waltzy, like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So we've got to figure out how to use rhythms within those groupings. So in a 4/4 measure, in one measure in 4/4 time, you can fit one whole note, or 2 half notes are the same as one whole note, or 4 quarter notes are the same as 2 half notes is the same as one whole note. And we're talking about the amount of time that they take up. So we'll take it down from the bottom. 16 16th notes takes up the same amount of time as 8 eighth notes, because there are 2 16th notes for every eighth note, right? Just like how 8 eighth notes takes up the same amount of time as 4 quarter notes, because there are 2 eighth notes in 1 quarter note. So here are a few examples of some rhythms that would work in a 4/4 measure. So let's clap some of these. Clap along with me. So let's clap this first line together. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? So it all works within 4 beats. What you really want to avoid, at all possible costs, you can never, never, never have the wrong amount of beats in a measure. You always have to get the exact right amount of all of these, which can be a tough game with addition. So that's why I kind of gave you some examples. So for example, you could do a group of eighth notes and a group of 16th notes, and a quarter note and 16th notes. Like this is the same as like 1 quarter note. This is the same as 1 quarter note. This is the same as 1 quarter note. And we know that 4 quarter notes make up one measure. So that works out. But if I had this, so this would be 2 quarter notes. This is 1 quarter note. This equals 1 quarter note, and this equals 1 quarter note. That's then 5 quarter notes. That's too many for one measure. And then this one here, this is equal to 1 quarter note. This one's equal to 1 quarter note. That's only 2, so that's not enough. We have to have exactly 4 quarter notes worth in every single measure in 4/4 time. And then when we're in 3/4 time, we have to do the same thing but with 3 beats, right? So here's some examples. Like you have 2 eighth notes, 1 quarter note, 2 eighth notes, or 4 16th notes, 2 eighth notes, and a quarter note. 4 16th notes, that's the same amount of time as 1 quarter note. 2 eighth notes, that's the same amount of time as 1 quarter note. And here's a quarter note, so that's 3 quarter notes. So that works out, right? So here's the breakdown. To fill one full bar of 3/4 time, you need a dotted quarter note. A dotted half note. And that happens because the dot takes half of the value of the note and adds it on, right? So then that becomes 2 beats, half of it added on would be 3. So now quiz yourself a little bit. I'm going to ask you a few questions for you to answer. What would you need in this measure to make this a whole measure? So take this measure right here. You've got 4/16 notes, 2 eighth notes. So figure out how many beats that takes up. Look at this chart. Figure out how many beats that takes up, and then how many beats do you need? And then what notes could you use to fill those beats? So pause this video while you figure that out. And when you're ready for the correct answer, there are many correct answers actually. So we know that this equals 1 beat, right? And this equals 1 beat. So we have 2 beats already. And if we need 4 total beats, that means we need 2 more beats still. So what takes up 2 beats? So we're looking at about just like half of this. So I'm going to pick 1 quarter note and 2 eighth notes to fill up half of a beat. But you could have also picked 1 half note, 2 quarter notes, 4 eighth notes, or 8 16th notes, right? So, now you're going to take the staff paper that you made, you're going to choose a key signature, and then you're going to choose a time signature. And then you are going to choose, you can take some of these rhythms, or you can make up your own rhythms, or you can create a rhythm pattern. Actually, that is something that I recommend doing, is maybe find a good pattern to use for rhythm for the entire piece, and write just a quick little song for me. So maybe take like 8 bars or 12 bars or 12 measures, and use your rhythm, maybe make a rhythm pattern like we talked about, and only pick notes that are in your key signature. So if you're in the key of G major, you only want to pick like G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, and G, right? You probably shouldn't use a C sharp. You probably shouldn't use like a D flat. So only use notes that are in your key signature. And try to start and end your song on the note that is the root of your key signature. So the root means the note that your key signature is, basically. So if you're in the key of C, your root is C. If you're in the key of D major, your root is D. So if you're going to write your song in G major, start it on the note G and then end it on the note G. All right, good job, guys. I can't wait to see what you come up with. After you write your song, take a picture of it and send it to me. And also, play your song on your bass and record yourself doing that and send it to me. All right, good job. Bye.